It can be a very lucrative business model. It's like the more I talk to them, the more I'm thinking like, should I? Like,
I'm gonna pay for you to be my partner for this workshop because it's partners only, or I need someone decent so that I can actually learn something because I don't want to be paired up with just anybody. That's a different story. I would do that.
I've done that.
You know. Oh yeah.
Yes, people pay me.
Oh wow.
Hopefully, yeah. Hey man, how's it going? I've been going to so many festivals and marathons. I don't know how people do it. I heard that you're going to another event soon. Like, how do you manage your budget? Like,
You know, it's kind of tough, but I volunteer a lot, and sometimes I get requested to go and dance with people who are sitting out a lot.
wait, so you're a taxi dancer?
Nah, not quite. I mean, I don't charge money for it. I mean, I just dance with people that are sitting out.
Wait, so you just free willingly dance with random people
Yeah,
and don't get paid for it?
you get paid for it.
Yes, actually, there is a secret underworld in Argentine Tango, and it's called taxi dancing. And so, for those of you who have heard, there are a lot of professionals, teachers that make a pretty decent living off of going to certain events, going to certain milongas, and dancing with particular clients in this case, which are their students or whatnot. And in return, they get paid a pretty, pretty decent amount of money to dance with these clients for a certain amount of time, usually a certain amount of tandas or a certain amount of total time of the milonga. Is taxi dancing a good service, and is it good for tango? I think taxi dancing is a necessary service because there are people out there that love to dance, but often either never get invited or they sit out a lot and they want like some kind of spark at the milonga. And so what's wrong with that?
You know, there's nothing wrong with it, but I have like a love-hate with taxi dancing.
What do you mean?
To me, it's like, okay. To me, it's like when you buy a game and you play the game and it's fun. Like you play a video game, right? But then there's all those microtransactions. It's like, do you want the new suit? Do you want the new fancy gun? Do you want to pass this easier? It's like
Skip some levels.
Yeah, it takes like why are you playing the game if like you're it's almost like they make the game so impossible, but then at the same time it's like then you have this pay to play option where it's like, well, now you get to play it on normal by paying a little more. And in a sense, like I kind of feel taxi dance is kind of the same thing.
Well, what about those people that have some extra disposable income and are willing to, pay for that kind of service, and in return, they are also supporting people who are dedicating their careers to dancing tango?
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's just like it kind of rubs me the wrong way.
It rubs you the wrong way.
It rubs me the wrong way because I mean, like I've done it before, but also at the same time, it kind of rubs me the wrong way because I feel that like it's okay to help to jumpstart people's night and to help them get on by, but then sometimes I feel like it becomes like a crutch that you can't get rid of, and generally
It's like they're like on some heavy drug and they can't wean themselves off that drug
now. It's like
heavy addicts.
It's like the oxy of tango, you know. it's like you're suffering, and like some guy comes like, hey, I got the good stuff for you, and next you know it's like you just can't shake it. You got to come back, and it's like, and
I need
like,
some more.
Yeah, and that's like I can't do tango without my taxis, and it's so that's why like I have a love-hate with it, and it's a very complicated subject. It's not something I'm going to say it's downright wrong or downright right or whatever. It's a very complicated subject for me because I have many mixed feelings about it, and a lot of it is about how it's done, not necessarily the thing itself. Like I have no problems with taxi dancing, but like
how it's done? What do you mean?
Well,
it's
like
done usually just in the milonga. You just go and they're just dancing a tandas, just like you would dance with your favorite partner.
Yeah, but what I mean is like sometimes I feel it becomes very predatory. Like there are people who like, they see their mark and they're gonna go after them and like, hey, I'm a taxi dancer, and then
No, but that's usually it's usually agreed upon beforehand.
It is agreed upon, but again, it's one of those things where sometimes I feel like taxi dancing ends up being very manipulative.
Really? I mean, it's not like they're going there and like poaching people and just like,
No, no,
hey, here's my card, you know?
well, I don't know. They do put pamphlets out on tables nowadays. So,
That's true.
and then like then sometimes you get that whole at festivals you get the Lamborghini taxi service and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, so again, it's
Just like anything that if you go to a club, there are VIP service. There's booths that you can pay for, bottle service.
I get
The people who come with their fancy like fireworks on the alcohol and flaming things.
I get it. It's just one of
You
those.
pay extra for those.
You do pay extra for those, but it's one of those things where sometimes I feel like tango is one of those things where I always feel like the cost is time and effort, not necessarily like a paywall you can just go through, you know?
But everything is time and effort. What do you?
Well, I think taxi dancing, it becomes like, I don't know, it's hard. Like, I have a hard time like grasping it because at one part I do understand it. It is a service and people benefit from it and all parties are satisfied. But on the other side, it's almost like a dance gigolo,
Okay.
you know, and it's like
They gotta make their money too, yeah.
yeah, but like because I'm a prude. It's like I have a hard time like digesting prostitution.
Okay.
You know, I'm not should we legalize it? Sure. Am I a fan of it? No. But I see benefits of it at the same time as taxi dancing. It's like, is it good? Does it help for some people? Yes. Does it kind of rub me the wrong way? Kinda. You know.
But those people that are usually doing the taxi, it's not like you're out there searching for those people because then those people wouldn't need a taxi service, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of like it doesn't really affect you at all,
No,
like you said.
it doesn't affect me, but it's just the thought of it, you know. It's kind of like OnlyFans doesn't affect me, but I don't like the idea of it. You know, that's just basically it. It's like it has nothing to do with like, does it impact me? No, not at all. But it's just the thought that I don't know. It's to me, I see it as like a little bit of a seedy business.
Well, I will say that it might impact some of the social dynamics in the milonga as we see more and more taxi dancers, which means that kind of takes away some of the more advanced dancers who, instead of spending time dancing with the rest of the community, they are dancing with a certain clientele that are paying for their services. And so maybe then it changes the dynamic of the milonga, right? Because now those advanced dancers just like, yeah, I'm gonna, it's work instead of, leisure.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing that might change is that people might be less generous because like, oh well, why am I generous if I can get paid for it?
That's a good point.
You know,
that is a good point.
And shouldn't we want people to be generous to our community to help grow it, support it, and everything?
It's true, right? That's how you cultivate new dancers. That's how people have to give back in certain ways. I'm thankful for the people that, when I first started out, a lot of the great experienced dancers danced with me, and I'm forever grateful for that. And so, when I became more experienced in tango, I always thought to myself, I have to give back, and that I still owe a lot in tango, right? And there's kind of like a saying, it's like you have to first give back a lot of tango before you take anything from it. And so I feel like taxi dancing in a way is kind of like taking something. So I feel like maybe you have to earn some kind of form of giving back first before you do that.
Okay, yeah, and so I agree with that. For the taxi dancer, sometimes I feel like it's a possible death sentence.
For what?
Like as a taxi dancer, I mean, yeah, you're getting paid for it, but sometimes it's almost like the golden handcuffs. Like you're stuck dancing with people you don't want to dance with.
Oh, so you just forever in this pigeonholed this thing.
And then after that, it's like because you're spending so much time with people you don't want to dance with, then it's like your skills might end up degrading. You might get like really stiff and because you're trying to find ways to protect your body from people who don't have good technique.
I never wanted to make tango, or at least going to the milonga, like a job, unless maybe I'm DJing. I mean, I guess you can count that as a job. But I've been offered taxi dancing as many times. Brian told me that, Derek, you got to do it at least one time, and just to say that you did it. And so I did it, right? The person was generous enough to pay for my milonga entrance, and then we agreed to dance, I think, 2 or 3 tandas. And I got compensated for that. And so I did it, and yeah, I mean, I've had many offers since then, but I don't want to look at going to the Malanga as a work thing like that, or like where I kind of monetizing my dances or monetizing my own creative whatever. I think that's I don't know, but that's just me, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I have no problems monetizing stuff. The job of an organizer is to monetize your friendships. I kind of joke about that. In a sense, I feel that's a bit true. But for some reason, even though I have no problems monetizing things, I still have a hard time with taxi dancing. It's like they're like I guess like everyone's got a line to draw and like
But you do it for volunteer purposes
yeah
at certain events.
yeah I do it for volunteer purposes. I do it at my own events. I do it but I think that's part of hosting because you know like they pay for the admission, they pay for these things, and my job is to keep them happy. Like it's in general like supporting the community. Like I want to support people in my event. I want to support people in the events I like to go to. You know, sometimes like I need a day off. I'm like, oh, this is too much for me. It becomes like the exchange of money, like
Yeah.
up front.
Transactional.
Yeah. Then it's almost like I want to view people in Tangle like they're my friends,
Ah.
and it's hard for me to be like, hey, I'm your friend for $25. I no,
Yeah, 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 I get you.
Even the worst dancer I've danced with, I still want to like have a decent bond with them.
Yeah.
Like I want to say, hey, I still respect you as a person. I want to know that you're a decent person, and it's hard for me to treat you like a decent person if I'm nickel and diming you left and right.
True, but and you know that there are some events that are like specialized in taxi dancing,
Yeah.
which is like, come to our taxi dancing festival. It's like we have everything set up for you. Here's our roster of taxi dancers,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're all here, everything paid for and
Yeah.
included in your admission.
There is one way where I'd be okay with taxi dancing, and it was something that I thought of that was good, but in hindsight, I don't know how I feel about it. But it's what you were saying, like a taxi dancing event where all the guys are taxi dancers and you pay like just a premium admission.
Yeah.
Because in that sense, I was just thinking, well, I'm okay with strip clubs, so to me, this is like
The strip club floor for tango.
yeah, because it's like everybody who goes in there knows what they're getting.
Yeah.
Like every guy who goes in the strip club knows we're there. We're there for the strippers.
Yeah.
We're there for people to dance on a pole. We're there.
Okay.
We're there
Yeah.
to make it rain. We're there to like feel like we're there to feel like some douchebag with a lot of money to throw around for girls to spend on a pool. We're all like it's almost like when you enter that space, you have that you've kind of signed that contract unconditionally by walking through those doors. And in a sense, I feel like if we did that for tango, like in terms of like it's a taxi dancing event, like all the guys there are taxi dancers.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing. Like every lady who walks through that door has signed that unconditional agreement.
Yeah.
And we all know what it is. There's nothing weird about it. Everyone agrees.
This is all the
okay.
cards are
Yeah.
laid out in front,
And-
face up on the table.
Yeah, and like I guess because I would be like 2 steps away from the actual transactional relationship, I might be okay with that.
Okay.
It's kind of like the person who buys their meat at a grocery store rather than like go hunting.
Yeah.
They're 2 steps away from it, so they don't feel the dirty.
Griminess of it.
I think that's the only way I would feel okay about taxi dancing or being involved with taxi dancing.
Yeah.
But just like the upfront like $25 a tanda, I just have a hard time because like it's like I want to respect you as a person,
Yeah. Do you think do you think taxi dancing is more of a male endeavor, just for men? Because I have seen women taxi dancers or follower taxi dancers as well. It is more rare, I would say, but
Yeah.
they are out there.
Yeah, there are. But a person who taxi dances and follows, I think there's a higher risk and a higher skill set. And in that sense, technically, I would say that person should actually be charging more.
Really?
Yeah, because the thing is, like, it's a higher demand. It's a higher skill set. It's kind of like, okay, let's just say out of all the taxi dancers, it's like 20 guys and 1 girl.
Yeah.
I mean, does that ratio sound about right?
It's true. Yeah.
So by supply and demand, if there's a demand for taxi dancing on both sides, like shouldn't that person who has lower supply have a higher cost?
Well, I don't think this supply is as great because I think just from what I think, my own perception is I think a lot of men don't want to put themselves out in public in that way. So like to taxi dance in public in a Malanga or at a festival or at a marathon,
Yep.
it's kind of like, yeah, I'd rather do it behind closed
Yeah.
doors. I'd rather like pay you for a private lesson and let's just dance I just want to dance with you for an hour.
For ladies who do taxi dance at the Malanga,
Yeah.
it's a higher risk because like not only do they have to back lead or like protect themselves from a bad lead, they also have to protect themselves from weird romantic.
But don't men have to feel that same thing?
Yeah, but I think
They also have to protect and insure their bodies when they're dancing with someone that doesn't have great technique.
yeah, but I think I think the dangers are more they're more immediate for ladies because it's like just in general there's a size difference, you know.
Well, you're stereotyping, but yes,
Okay,
I guess.
well, I am stereotyping, but yeah, like but generally,
Yeah.
like generally there is a size difference,
Yeah.
and also it's because like as a lead, I feel like because you're the one initiating the movement, initiating the ideas and everything, you could still manage. You can still manage, even if the person has bad technique, you still manage to complete the idea. Where on the other side, it's like if the person leading is bad, it's harder to manage that. It's like having a company with bad workers but a good manager. It could still survive because the manager could make it work, right? But if the company has maybe good workers but bad management, I have never seen a company survive with. No, seriously. Have you? I haven't seen a company survive with bad management and good workers. I mean, maybe one out of a million, but it's like, but I haven't seen that. So I kind of view it the same way, where like the lady needs to do so much more to stay on top of things because she's on the reactive side of things.
So if we normalize taxi dancing to the extent where it's out there, it's no longer under
not taboo.
under wraps, it's not taboo. Does that will that just make advanced dancers just go, you know what? If I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna get paid for it.
It might. They might. I mean, like I've heard a lot of things in like some other countries where like taxi dancing and dance they call them DIs for dance instructors, which end up being taxi dancers, is a really huge lucrative thing where it's almost like the only guys out there are taxi dancers. Like you go in there, so it's almost like you run a regular Malanga, but there are no guys there, just taxi dancers.
Yeah.
And I've heard of situations like that in other countries.
I think more people take the route of just becoming an instructor first now because that's less taboo, but maybe they go straight into taxi dancing. I know it could be very lucrative. I've talked to some of my some of my friends that I know that and they've confided in me just like their work and how much they make, and it can be a very lucrative business model. And it's like the more I talk to them, the more I'm thinking like, should I? Like, do I walk on the wild side?
Yeah, okay, but I think here's the
Am I
thing.
losing out here? I'm like cutting myself short.
Maybe you are, but this is what I think. I mean, and I make the comparison to OnlyFans, which, like, we look at the big money makers, the people who are making like $1 million a month, and we're like, wow,
They're raking it in. I should just do it.
Yeah, but if you actually look at the average person barely makes it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is that the case with taxi dancing? That's possible, because I mean.
Well, I mean, OnlyFans is oversaturated. I would argue that tango dancing, taxi dancing is not. Like, there's not a huge saturation of taxi dancers.
No, but there is also a less demand for people who are willing to pay for it also.
Are you sure about that? Because I'm beg to differ. I think there actually is a pretty strong clientele out there.
Okay, there probably is. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man.
It's a tough one, yeah.
It's like, do I want? I mean, here's the thing. Okay, maybe this is me being stupid, or maybe this is me being naive. But I'd rather someone just tell me, like, hey, Rob, like, can you take one for the team and like dance to this lady over here? And I've done that many times.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because like I'm Mr. Goody Two Shoes over here, but
You've
I'd
been
rather
missing out on money.
I'm missing
I'm
out on
just
money.
kidding.
No,
I'm
no,
just kidding.
it's true. But like, but here's the thing: it's like I'd rather do that than like because I don't know. I feel like when there's an exchange of money, like the handcuffs are on. You know, like there's a demand. I have to meet like certain.
You have to uphold to the standards of the
Yeah,
service.
yeah, and because if I'm gonna go that route, I'm gonna go all in. You
Yeah.
know? And that means like 5 stars all the way. Like nothing short of 5 stars. And like I don't know if I can do that and for how long before like it just wears and tears on me, because even as an organizer, as much as I love it, as much as I love
You were
hosting,
breaking your back.
I was breaking my back. I was
Yeah.
and there are times I'm just like, dude, like I need a vacation, but I can't get a vacation because I'm a weekly. Like
Every week I gotta put this event on.
yeah. So I mean, and that's something I'm willing to do for organizing and for running events, but I don't know if I can do that for taxi dancing. It's just it's a different beast, and I don't know if I'm willing to tackle that.
Yeah, for me, I didn't want to get too consumed into that because then maybe that's the only thing I would focus on, and maybe that takes the joy out of dancing tango for me. Or I just didn't want to even be tempted by that. Although I've had some really nice offers and very appreciative of that, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. The other thing, the one place I would do it though, I mean, again, like I've done it before, like once or twice here and there, but the one place I would do it is actually workshops.
Oh, like you're subbing in and you're like their workshop partner?
Yeah, like hey, like I need like it's a workshop I don't care for, right? I didn't plan to go to it at all, right? But someone just said, hey, I'm gonna pay for you to be my partner for this workshop because it's partners only, or I need someone decent so that I can actually learn something because I don't want to be paired up with just anybody. That's a different story. I would do that.
I've done that.
Okay.
Yes. People pay me.
Oh wow.
Hopefully yeah.
Well, okay. I haven't had that opportunity yet. So hey, for anyone who wants to do a workshop.
But that is a good point. Maybe you for people that want to get into like a marathon and that's like not role balanced and they're looking for a lead to sign up with. Maybe that's like a exchange of transactional thing there. Like, hey, help me sign up for this marathon and I'll pay you a little extra.
Okay, I've heard of that before too. But here's the other part is that like this goes into the whole James O category, where James made that post about the guy who, or like people asking for unsavory favors for, I don't
demands.
want, that's like,
Going down the wrong rabbit hole there.
Yeah, but so like, I don't, so like, yeah, I wouldn't want to take up that offer as in terms of like, pay
Get you in.
Yeah, pay to fill in a spot to, to get into like a
Prestigious
balance.
marathon.
Class is a different story because with class, it's like, I don't know. I feel like that's me providing a service. I'm being the best person I can be, a partner for you, so that you can learn. And I didn't have any intentions to showing up for that thing at all. But, and maybe that's me taking my own moral stance on that. But then it's also like, well, how's that different from monetizing your friendships? Like, wouldn't you like be a partner? Like, wouldn't you do it for the community? Wouldn't you, And like that's, I don't know. It's like I said, I have really mixed feelings about this, and maybe my morals are kind of weird and split in funny ways in this. But I'd be more comfortable. I would say this: I'd be more comfortable about taking a fee to be someone's partner for a workshop than anything else.
Okay, that's fair. I think taxi dancing is one of those things where, like I told Rob, it doesn't really hurt anybody. I mean, it's a service that's beneficial, and the only downside is that it might impact some of the way advanced dancers look at the dance, right? I guess for me that's the most critical issue. But other than that, I think it's a pretty worthwhile service.
Yeah. Well, so is OnlyFans, I guess.
Oh yeah, but yeah, let us know what you think about the secret world, or maybe it's not so secret in your community of taxi dancing and taxi dancers. And have you ever thought about using the service, becoming a taxi dancer, or whatnot? And yeah, we'd be curious to know what you think on the matter. But yeah, thanks you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.
All right, thank you for joining us for this episode of Left Foot, Right Foot. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and notification bell to keep up to us in our latest content.
Yeah, it really goes a long way. We've come a long way so far, and we really appreciate everyone's support in helping us grow this channel and all supporting our lifelong path of really getting social dancing out there and allowing other people to find their way to Argentine Tango.